Yo, what's good, Laker Nation? Listen, I need every single one of you to sit down, grab your phone, grab your remote, and pay attention right now, because what I am about to tell you is going to change everything about the Los Angeles Lakers moving forward. I'm talking about the kind of news that happens once in a decade. I was watching First Take this morning, just like I do every morning with my coffee, and I had to literally put my cup down, rewind the TV, and watch it again because I could not believe what I was hearing. Rob Pelinka, the general manager of the Los Angeles Lakers, was sitting right there across from Stephen A. Smith, and he said something so explosive, so absolutely nuclear, that the entire studio went silent. I'm not exaggerating. I've been covering the Lakers for years, and I have never ever heard a GM speak this openly, this boldly, and this aggressively about a trade target while the cameras were rolling. If you are a Lakers fan and you care about the future of this franchise, you need to hear every single word of what went down today. Trust me, this is not your typical sources say situation. This came straight from the horse's mouth. Hey, what's up everyone? Real quick before we get into everything, that like button is literally what determines if this reaches hundreds or thousands of fans. Takes 1 second, but makes a huge impact on the channel's growth. Just smash that like button right now. It's the easiest thing you can do, but honestly, the biggest way to support this content. Every single like pushes this further, so hit it now. So here's the setup. Rob Pelinka was invited onto First Take to talk about the Lakers' offseason plans. You know the situation, the Lakers just came off a 53-29 regular season, won the Pacific Division, beat the Houston Rockets in 6 games in the first round, and then got swept by the Oklahoma City Thunder in the second round. 4 games, no answers. The Thunder exposed every weakness this team had, and Pelinka knows it. Luka Doncic went down with that grade 2 hamstring strain right before the second round series, and without him, the Lakers had absolutely no chance. LeBron James, at 41 years old, was left carrying the entire offense by himself, and it just was not enough. So Pelinka comes on the show, and Stephen A. starts asking him the standard questions. How do you evaluate the season? Are you satisfied with the coaching? What is the plan for next year? And Pelinka is giving the standard GM answers. You know, we had a great regular season, we are proud of the guys, JJ Redick did a phenomenal job, we need to get healthy. The typical corporate speak you hear from every front office executive in the league. But then Molly Karam asked the question that changed everything. She says, Rob, with the Sacramento Kings potentially making Domantas Sabonis available this summer, and reports that the Kings dropped to the 7th pick in the draft lottery, is that a player you would pursue? And bro, the look on Pelinka's face when she asked that question, I literally had to rewind because I thought I saw wrong. His eyes got wide, he leaned back in his chair, and then he leaned forward with this look like he had been waiting for someone to ask him that. And then he said it. Pelinka looked directly at the camera and said, let me be very clear about something. Domantas Sabonis is exactly the type of player that has defined Lakers championship history. When I think about what Pau Gasol meant to this franchise, what Kareem meant, what Shaq meant, the Lakers have always been at their best when we have a dominant, intelligent big man who can do everything. Sabonis fits that mold perfectly. I literally almost fell off my couch. A sitting GM just went on national television and essentially told the entire NBA that he is going after another team's franchise player. Stephen A. Smith's jaw dropped. Shannon Sharpe, who was also on the panel, just put his hands on his head and started shaking it. The studio went completely quiet for about 3 seconds, which on live television feels like an eternity. And then Stephen A. said, Rob, do you realize what you just said on national television? And Pelinka, without blinking, without hesitating, said, I know exactly what I said, and I meant every word of it. Now let me break down why this is so massive. The Sacramento Kings just finished the season with the worst record in the NBA. They fired Mike Brown earlier in the season. They traded De'Aaron Fox to the San Antonio Spurs. And now Sabonis, their last remaining star, had season-ending knee surgery for a torn meniscus back in February. The Kings are in full rebuild mode. Their new GM Scott Perry has been listening to offers for Sabonis since the trade deadline, and multiple teams have shown interest. The Toronto Raptors were aggressive before the deadline, trying to get Sabonis for RJ Barrett, but it fell through. The Washington Wizards just won the #1 pick in the lottery, and the Kings dropped to 7th. Reports from insiders like Mark Stein say that it is not a certainty that the Kings will try to trade Sabonis, but the reality is that Sacramento is heading in a completely different direction, and Sabonis has 2 years and approximately $94 million left on his contract, a guy making $45.4 million next season on a team going nowhere. That is a recipe for a trade, but here is where it gets really crazy. After the commercial break, I thought Pelinka would walk it back. I thought maybe a producer talked to him during the break and said, "Rob, you cannot be saying stuff like that on live TV. You are going to get fined." But no. When they came back, Pelinka was even more fired up. He started breaking down the basketball fit in a way that I have never heard a GM do publicly. He said, "Look, I watched Anthony Davis for years. I know what AD can do when he plays the 4. He is a completely different player at power forward. He is more mobile, he is healthier, he is more impactful, but we asked AD to play the 5 for too long because we did not have a legitimate center. Sabonis changes that equation entirely." And then he said the quote that I think is going to be replayed on every sports show for the next week. He said, "Sabonis is the new Pau Gasol." That is not disrespect to Pau, that is the highest compliment I can give. A 6'11 center who averages nearly 16 points, over 11 rebounds, and 4 assists per game, who can pass out of the high post like a point guard. That is a championship piece. And I am not going to sit here and pretend we are not interested. Now at this point, Stephen A is going absolutely wild. He is standing up out of his chair, pointing at the screen, saying, "Do you understand what is happening right now? A GM just told the world he is going after Sabonis." And Shannon Sharp starts laughing and says, "This man Pelinka is treating this interview like a free agent pitch meeting." And honestly, that is exactly what it was. Pelinka was sending a message not just to the Kings, not just to the media, but to Sabonis himself. He was saying, "We want you. We have a plan for you. Come be part of Lakers history." But then Pelinka went even further, and this is the part that is going to create the most controversy. He started talking about the players on his own roster who might have to go in order to make this deal happen. He said, "In this league, to get something great, you have to be willing to give up something good. We have young players, we have draft capital, and we are willing to have those conversations." Now, he did not name specific players, but let me tell you what the math tells us. Sabonis makes $45.4 million next season. To match that salary in a trade, the Lakers would likely have to send out Austin Reeves, who makes around $16 million, Rui Hachimura, who makes about $17 million, and then fill in the rest with either Dalton Knecht or other role players plus draft picks. That is a lot of talent going out the door. Austin Reeves just averaged over 15 points per game and has become a fan favorite. Rui Hachimura has been a solid two-way forward, but Pelinka essentially said on live television that nobody on this roster is untouchable except Luka Doncic and LeBron James. And that is when the interview took an emotional turn. Pelinka got quiet for a moment, and then he said something that I think reveals the pressure he is under. He said, "I have the privilege of running the most iconic franchise in basketball history, but with that privilege comes responsibility. LeBron James is 41 years old. We do not know how many more years we have with him. Luka Doncic is dealing with a hamstring injury that we need to manage. The window to win a championship is right now, and I will not be the GM who looked back and said, we should have been more aggressive. I refuse to let that happen. We are going to be bold. We are going to be decisive, and if that means making a blockbuster trade for a player like Sabonis, then that is exactly what we are going to do." Man, I am still processing what I just watched. Let me give you my honest analysis of what this means for the Lakers and for the entire NBA. First of all, Rob Pelinka just put every team in the league on notice. He basically told Sacramento, name your price, because we are coming. He told the Golden State Warriors and every other team interested in Sabonis, we are not messing around, get out of our way. And he told Lakers fans, we hear you, you want a championship, we are going to go get it. The basketball fit makes complete sense. Think about it, Luka Doncic is one of the best playmakers in NBA history. He averaged 33.5 points, 7.7 rebounds, and 8.3 assists per game this season before the hamstring injury. Now imagine Luka running the pick and roll with Sabonis instead of relying on DeAndre Ayton or whoever else the Lakers throw out there at center. Sabonis is one of the best passing big men in the history of the game, up there with Nikola Jokic. He had over 4 assists per game this season playing on a terrible Kings team. In Steve Kerr's system or JJ Redick's motion offense, Sabonis would be even more dangerous because he would have shooters around him. The high-low game between Sabonis and Luka would be virtually unstoppable, and then you add LeBron as the third playmaker, teams would have no idea who to guard. But here is my concern, and I think this is the question every Lakers fan needs to be asking. Is the cost too high? If you have to give up Austin Reeves, who has been incredible as a secondary creator and shooter, plus Rui Hachimura, who gives you defense and scoring at the 4, plus draft picks, are the Lakers actually better? Or are they just trading depth for star power on a team that already has 2 superstars? I think the answer depends on one thing: health. If Luka Doncic is healthy, if LeBron is healthy, and you add Sabonis, that is a championship starting 5. But the Lakers just got swept because Luka was hurt. What happens if he gets hurt again and you have traded away Reeves and Hachimura? Then you are in serious trouble. The other thing I am thinking about is the Sacramento Kings perspective. The Kings and the Lakers are in the same division. The Kings are rebuilding, but would they really trade their best player to a division rival? Would Scott Perry want to see Sabonis in a Lakers jersey 4 times a year, destroying his young team? That is a tough pill to swallow. But at the end of the day, if the Lakers offer the best package, Sacramento has to take it. That is just how business works in the NBA. I also want to mention the Draymond Green elephant in the room, but that is more of a Warriors issue. For the Lakers, the fit is clean. There is no bad blood between Sabonis and anyone on the Lakers roster. This is purely about basketball, and on paper, it is a match made in heaven. Sabonis protecting the rim, grabbing boards, and feeding Luka and LeBron in transition. Are you kidding me? That is a highlight reel waiting to happen. So here is where we stand. Laker Nation. Rob Pelinka just went on national television and essentially declared war on the rest of the NBA. He wants Sabonis. He is going to pursue Sabonis, and he is willing to pay the price to get him. Whether the Kings will play ball, whether the Warriors will try to outbid the Lakers, whether another team swoops in, those are all questions that will play out over the next few weeks. But one thing is absolutely crystal clear: the Los Angeles Lakers are not content with just making the playoffs. They are not satisfied with winning a first-round series. They got swept by OKC, and that left a scar. Pelinka is trying to heal that scar with the biggest offseason move in years. Now I need to hear from you. Do you think the Lakers should trade Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura for Domantas Sabonis? Is the fit as perfect as Pelinka is making it sound, or are the Lakers giving up too much depth? Drop your comments below. I want to know what Laker Nation thinks. This is going to be the biggest storyline of the offseason, and I am going to be right here covering every single development. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, because when the next piece of news drops, and trust me, it will drop, you are going to want to hear about it first. Laker Nation, the purple and gold is about to make a power move. Stay locked in. I will see you in the next one.